Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I'm joined by the one and only Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Fantabulous.
Why?
I'm stupid.
Why
well, because look, I mean, I can say this now because the other episode's probably never going to air. We had an abortion of an episode last week, an absolute abortion. Top three, where this is episode 161. That was a top three of how painful that episode was. But nice guy, but very, very nice guy. I'm not going to say his name because it's probably never gonna air.
But, now I gotta know.
Oh, I'll tell Mario Bosco. I don't have a problem. I'll burn every bridge in this fucking industry. I don't give a shit. Yeah, nice guy. He was very cool, but like he was in the middle of a cafe and you could not hear anything because there's people.
Hold on a second, Sean. Let's introduce our guest.
Hold on. Why you stop the story for?
Because we got to bring him in because he wants to comment on it. So let's bring in Chris Covert.
Oh God! It's like last week all over again.
Get in, Sean. So tell us about Mario Bosco.
No, go ahead. Chris Covert is a brilliant comedian musician from the South Jersey, Central New Jersey area that I've seen a few times. And let me just tell you, normally I'm one of those comedy purists who likes just regular stand up and stuff like that. So I don't like ventriloquists or magicians or musical comedy, but Chris is really fucking good. And I hate saying that because I usually go in against my principles, but he's a great dude and he's a great fucking musician as well. So Chris Covert is joining us on the show this week.
That was a very nice intro. Thank you.
Last week we had, I'm glad you're doing it like from your house or a studio, wherever you're at. But last week when we had Mario Bosco, he made the decision to go, let's say, I can do it from an apartment where it could be quiet or a house where it could be quiet, but let me go to a cafe. And in that cafe, when there's only one person in there, let me sit right next to him so I can hear the whole conversation.
Oh, that's
which is right under the television.
I mean, I have a laptop and a bus terminal not far if you want me to relocate.
If you go to Manhattan and do it at the 42nd Street subway station, that'd been more serene than where Mario Bosco did his from. But we do love Mario Bosco. He's a trip, that guy. He's funny. But we have a funny guy here too. What are you doing up to, Chris Covert? What's going on with you? How's 2025 treating you so far?
Too soon to tell. But so far so good. I'm going to say so far so good. It's been
any plans for the new year coming up?
I got a lot. There's a lot of traveling going on this year. Not all of it work related. I'm going to go to Germany for a little bit and Amsterdam. And
have you ever been to Amsterdam?
I have not.
Oh, my friend! I used to go every single year.
Nice.
And
Thailand too, you perv.
I never went to Thailand. No, you're going to love it. Go to the Milkweg, and I can give you a whole bunch of places to go to, man. It was one time I'm there with my friends, and who do we run into? We run into the Wu-Tang Clan. We wind up going with them to a Jamaican bar. Okay. And like everything it's legal or it's regulated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we wind up hanging out with them to about, I would say 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, which is kind of the average time you would come in from hanging out in Amsterdam.
That's wow.
Yeah. Those days are way behind me.
Yeah. I don't think, and I'm going with my girlfriend. It's like a whole different, I hear it's beautiful. It's going to be amazing. And I don't really.
Then you're
not going to be seeing like a Danish fisting show, is what you're saying. The girlfriend's going to want to see like the sights and stuff.
Yeah,
and
he's going to go to
museums and everything.
Yeah. He's going to wind up going to the Rijksmuseum. He's going to go to the Van Gogh Museum. He's going to wear that hat backwards and pretend like he's really into art.
I'm totally into art. We're going to do probably Anne Frank or something, Anne
Frank, right. You'll go to the Rijksmuseum and they'll all look like the Dutchman cigar picture and then all Rembrandts.
It's like going to Vegas and going to church.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You got to pretend that you're into art.
Well, Germany's we're doing like one of those riverboat cruises up the Rhine. So like every day is a different town. And it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
you'll have.
I want to ask you a question because I always ask this of certain people. Which came first, the love of music or the love of comedy? Considering that you do both in your act.
I would have to say music, because I didn't know anything about comedy. I used to play piano when my mother used to play, and then she'd read, and then I'd hop up and play what she was trying to play. So,
when you were growing up, okay, and that's a good question that Sean started you off with. What were you listening to, and was there any band or anything that got you into it? And by the way, Sean, we have already spoke more music on this episode than we did the whole Mario Bosco episode.
Yes, that's very true.
That's who I thought you were going to say you ran into in Amsterdam, Mario Bosco, just hanging out at a cafe.
Oh, God.
No, my mom was a big Beatle head, so I grew up with that. A lot of 70s folk stuff and 70s, a lot of 70s stuff.
About 70s. Okay.
I hated a lot of the 80s stuff except for the rock and metal. I didn't jive with, but.
All right, cool. So what I wanted to do with this episode, and I'm glad we have Chris on for this, since he is, he knows music, he's a musician. I wanted to title this episode "Rock Debates," and I want to throw a series of questions at you guys and get your feedback on what you think on these rock debates. So the first question, pretty simple one: which era of Van Halen are you guys going with? Would you say the Roth era or the Sammy Hagar era?
I'd go not to mainstream. I'd go Roth.
Why Roth?
I mean, he was the guy. He was the face. He was the face.
Well, he was a great front man, but that's not really when we look at the album. What would you say, Sean?
The better songs and the better singer are Sammy Hagar. The best version of Van Halen is with David Lee Roth. If that makes any sense at all.
I like what you just said.
It does. Okay, so you pick, if you're going to pick a Van Halen song, what would you say the quintessential song is with Roth?
I love Panama. It's my favorite Van Halen. My dad ever.
Okay, now I think with Sammy, what are you going with?
Probably Why Can't This Be Love?
That's a good one. What do you think, Chris?
I like that. I like where you're going with that.
See, man, it's so tough because I agree with what Sean said about Hagar being the better singer, but I think some of the better songs, some of the songs with Sammy are great. Like Right Now is a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. I mean, this is another debate that we've had a lot. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. I don't think you're going to, but it's the same debate I've always had with Anthrax. Anthrax had Joey Belladonna forever, and they were like this thrash metal kind of band. And then John Bush comes in, and they completely changed their sound for 4 albums. And to me, that's the best absolute version of that band, even though it's a completely different band. So when John Bush came in, for Sammy Hagar, he would sing Belladonna stuff. But when he left and Belladonna came back, he wouldn't sing any of John Bush's stuff.
I thought this one would be a little bit closer because you guys both went with Roth. I was kind of considering the first one Ozzy or Dio, but I thought you'd both go Ozzy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Okay. So this next one is 2 questions. Okay. Yeah. And they both have to do with covers. And I think a band that does covers great is Metallica. All right. So which is better? The original version, Bob Seger's version of Turn the Page, or Metallica's cover of Turn the Page?
Bob Seger.
I'm going to go Seger as well.
Wow. See, that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. Not every song needs to be covered.
Okay. But the Metallica does a great version of it.
It's a good version, but I still prefer Seger's version.
Okay, then then the follow-up to it. Which was the better version of Whiskey in a Jar, Thin Lizzy or Metallica?
Metallica.
I'm not. I'd have to hear them.
The Thin Lizzy version is also, you got to remember too, Whiskey in the Jar is like a 100-year-old song. It's not really the Thin Lizzy version. It's really like a 100-year-old folk song that's been covered 1,000 times. But Thin Lizzy was the first big band that really covered it. So
that had some success with the song.
Yeah, exactly. So right. I mean, even though that's good, though, Metallica made it a little funky, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was Thin Lizzy's song until Metallica covers it. And then a lot of people don't realize what you just said and think it's a Metallica song. But I think they do own it. It is really good. All right. Next question. Do the Grammys matter? If you're a rock band, do they matter whether you win a Grammy, whether you're nominated for a Grammy?
I think they matter in your wallet, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, you don't win any money for winning a Grammy.
No, but I mean, you're on the book. You're made after that.
Yeah, you go from Irving Plaza to Radio City overnight, or you know.
Do you?
Yeah, 100%.
Would you lose credibility when the Grammys pick Jethro Tull over Metallica for the best hard rock album?
It's a popularity contest. You got to remember, it's who's the flavor of the year. You know, like this year's Grammy, I think there's like 10 people in the best new artist, and like 7 of them can win because like 7 of them have like 5 number one. It's like the market is so fucking flooded with people now that everybody and their mother's going to wind up getting a fucking Grammy within 5 years anyway. So it really doesn't mean a damn thing anymore. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
So it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters at all. I don't think it matters at all.
Chris, you think it matters?
I think it's definitely a notch in your belt. It's not a fake award. There's enough of those out there. But you're talking a Grammy. It's not like a
Is it validation?
100%.
It's ego. Yeah, it's 100% ego too. Like, but on what Chris said too. Imagine creating a piece of work like this and not getting recognized for something that you put years of your life into, and then you have an opportunity to have some extra success for it. I mean, I'm sure at some level it's got to be really good, but I mean, I don't personally give a fuck about any kind of accolades or anything like that.
I think a lot of these award shows are kind of antiquated, and I think you're going to start to see them peter out. I think they'll get lesser and lesser.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. How about this? You guys are Kiss fans. Everyone who listens to music is a Kiss fan. Should Kiss's new members, Tommy Thayer, Eric Carr, should Kiss new members wear the band's original makeup? So are you okay with Tommy Thayer wearing the Ace makeup and the drummer wearing the Peter Criss cat makeup?
I would think he should have his own. They should each have their own spin. But yeah, I mean, you can't go out there without makeup if everyone else is doing it. I don't think they should wear the other guys. They should do their own thing.
You think they should have their own identity, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they're never going to get their own identity because Paul and Gene own Starman and the Cat. You know what I mean? Or whatever the other two are. You know what I mean? Spaceman.
That's the Spaceman.
Spaceman and the Cat. So they own that. So why are they going to introduce 2 more characters? Which means they're going to have to share profits with other people. Then that's all about money and all about brand.
Because I think it has to do with identity. Like at least when was it Eric Singer did it? He was kind of a version of a cat. He was the fox. Okay.
When Vinnie Vincent joined the band, that was in the era though where really the money wasn't coming in yet as far as branding and stuff like that.
The 90s was brutal for any type of hard rock band. Yeah, it was all about grunge. Bon Jovi went from playing stadiums to playing like 1,500 seat arenas. When Vinnie Vincent joins the band, he has his own makeup. I'm really of the belief that if you're going to be in that band, then you're going to wear makeup. You should have your own character. I think, and if you're talking about money, I think it adds to more money.
I got to see them in the 90s. And it was their they didn't have any makeup.
Oh, so you saw them with Bruce Kulick. That was like the Hot in the Shade era.
It was. Where the hell did we see them? A really good friend of mine. He grew up with the bassist for their opening act, which was Faster Pussycat. And we got to go like backstage and everything. It was really cool. But they didn't have the makeup. It was. But there was I would say half of the people in the audience did have their makeup on, so it was like the same thing.
Yeah, it's
all great.
creepy.
That's the fun thing about seeing Kiss, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen them in full makeup.
Yeah, and if they're going to do the whole show, how do you do it without the makeup? No one wants to see Gene Simmons running around in blue jeans, okay? Because he's almost wearing mom jeans at this point.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it was. I don't remember much. I remember they had like a full bust of the Statue of Liberty, and like at one point the face comes off and there's lasers and everything. Where the hell were we?
Was it PNC?
No, it was indoor.
Was it in Jersey?
I feel like it was.
If it was the 90s, Sean, would Kiss have been able? Would they been able to sell out Brendan Byrne Arena in the 90s?
Yeah, they did Brendan Byrne in the 90s. Absolutely.
They went through a period, man, where they were not drawing. They were almost considered corny.
Yeah, they picked it back up, though, in the 90s, I believe, though.
Yeah.
There was a nice second surge of hair metal.
Psycho Circus picked it up for them.
Yeah.
I think that was the album that turned them around.
Okay, AC/DC. Okay, you guys familiar with AC/DC?
I've heard of
them. Are they better with Bon Scott or Brian Johnson?
Brian Johnson.
I agree.
That's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like with it's like with the Roth.
Thank you for not saying Axl Rose, by the way.
Should AC/DC continue without Brian Johnson if he can't sing, and they do take on guest singers like Axl Rose?
I saw the Axl version. I saw the Axl version of AC/DC at Madison Square Garden, and like the first song you're like, "This is amazing," and the second song you're like, "Yeah," and the third song's like, "Cool," and the fourth song's like, "This is a bad cover band," and we left after the seventh song. Like, and I'm a GNR fanatic. You know this. Yeah. And my buddy Scott, who was a DJ at the time, and he was just like
DJ, from WDHA, right?
Yeah, and I looked at him. He goes, "You feeling? I'm feeling." I'm like, "That you want to get the fuck out of here?" He goes, "We can catch a train right now." I'm like, "Let's get the fuck out of here." And we left. We like 7 songs in. It was just very underwhelming.
Wow. Yeah. I guess there is a novelty, but I guess that novelty must wear off kind of quickly, right?
Very quickly.
And that's such a neat, like that voice has to be right.
That's a hard band to try and replicate.
It's the most important instrument in that band for sure.
Oh yeah. No question.
What songs did you see them do?
They opened with, I think, Shoot to Thrill. Hell's Bells that I remember off the top of my head.
Both Brian Johnson songs.
Yeah, all the ones are Brian Johnson songs, I believe.
Oh, you didn't see him do any Bon Scott stuff?
No, I don't think so.
I would like to see him do.
It was rough. I gotta be honest. It was not the easiest thing to sit through. And I mean, even
you wanted to like it.
It's like seeing like, you know, you two of like your all-time favorite things, and like you're mixing them together like fucking like fucking fried chicken and waffles. It's fucking fantastic together, you know what I mean? And then like it's not cooked right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just off. The whole night was off. It was so strange.
All right, I think this next one.
But for the original question there. What was the original question?
The original question: AC/DC better with Bon Scott or Brian Johnson?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We agreed.
I like him with Brian Johnson too, but man, there is some great stuff with Bon Scott. Whole lot.
I don't go too deep in the Bon Scott era, though. That's the thing.
What? Say again?
I don't go too deep in the Bon Scott era. Like I know the hits.
Like Whole Lot of Rosie, right?
Yeah, I know the hits. You know. Long Way to the Top, that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, I don't go into album tracks and stuff.
Okay. Even though I think Highway to Hell, that is probably one of the most covered songs, and that's
Brian Johnson.
That Highway to Hell is a Bon Scott song. I'm on a Highway to Hell. That's Bon Scott.
Highway to Hell is Brian Johnson.
Adam, check in on that. Is that true? Highway to Hell is not Brian Johnson. That's Bon Scott. Not unless
Siri, who sings the song Highway to Hell?
He's gonna say AC/DC.
Who is the singer in AC/DC that recorded Highway to Hell?
Even fucking Siri ignores him.
I know. Siri's a cunt.
Oh.
See, that's what you want to answer.
I'm going to find it real quick.
It's
You entertain me.
I'm telling you, Sean, you're wrong.
It's Bon Scott?
Bon Scott, yep.
Yeah.
Fuck you too, Adam.
It was his last song.
I swore this is 48 years. Well, I'm going to be 49. I'm hearing this song 45 years. I thought it was friggin' Brian Johnson the whole time. The fuck?
The thing is, he said it. I knew it.
It was conviction.
Was,
I had fucking conviction behind that.
You said it with such confidence. You made me start to doubt myself.
I was fucking sure of it. I was sure of it.
You're such an idiot. Okay.
Whatever. What's the next question?
Which song is better? Which song is better? Bohemian Rhapsody or Stairway to Heaven?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Wow. That's not even a question.
This was one I cannot come to even. I can't come up with. I just amazing song.
Just for the
Bohemian Rhapsody will go down as probably the greatest song ever written and recorded of all time. It's hands down.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, greatest of all time. I don't know, but between those two songs, 100%.
Now, I'm going to piggyback off of this, okay? Now, this is a question I've put on Facebook a couple times. I do it like once every couple years just to stir the pot a little bit. Biggest New Jersey song. Is it Born to Run by Springsteen or is it Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi?
Born to Run by Springsteen.
My era would be Living on a Prayer.
I go with Living on a Prayer as well, even though Born to Run is the better song. Living on a Prayer, not many people who are outside of Bruce fans know Born to Run.
What are you, out of your mind?
No, I am absolutely not. Bruce fans are diehards. What's that?
Everyone knows Born to Run.
No, not everybody knows Born to Run. No.
Okay, if you're going to pick one song to identify Bruce Springsteen with, it's Born to Run. Not
to the casual fan, it's not.
It's not like it's some deep track. It's Born to Run.
It's Born in the USA.
Album is called Born to Run.
It's Born in the USA. If everybody knows him by.
Oh, I disagree. I don't
disagree with it. But no. I say it's Living on a Prayer because it's multi-generational. So it starts with our generation, Chris, but like people older than us loved it as well. And that song is carried on for 30 years after our generation.
And it has kind of like a sequel.
Yeah, it does. It's My Life.
It's My Life.
Yep.
A lot of people don't remember, but Tommy used to work on the dock. The union's been on strike. No, that's right.
No, we get it, Chris. Bon Jovi had what's her name? Gina? Is it Gina in it?
Gina, yeah.
Gina. Okay, and Bruce's big girl was Wendy. Wendy's always doing something. Wendy's always about to reject Bruce, and then he gets a record contract in every fucking song. We get it. Okay, Wendy, Gina. They both suck. Speaking of suck, who sucks more out of these three? Who's worse? Rebecca Black, Nicki Minaj, or Justin Bieber?
Justin Bieber's a musical genius, number one. So let's get that out of the way.
Go on.
He's a musical genius. Rebecca Black has one song, Friday. I don't like it. Nicki Minaj has no talent at all. What?
It's the quintessential Friday song.
Yeah, it really is. But Nicki Minaj, I don't believe, has a lot of talent. So Bieber is by far the king of that conversation.
So who's worse though? Rebecca Black, Nicki? Who's the worst one? Not the best.
Rebecca Black.
She's the worst one. What do you think, Chris Covert?
I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't really know enough of any. I don't listen to any of that crap.
Yeah, I'll chime in for Chris Covert. He doesn't like Nicki Minaj.
I don't like Nicki Minaj.
He doesn't like Nicki Minaj because he just doesn't like that genre of music, and he's not a big fan of the blacks.
And he's
Okay.
racist. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't. That wasn't Jeffrey Paul who said that. That was Chris Covert. All right. Let's move on. Who is the true king? Who is the true king? Is it Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson?
Elvis Presley until the end of time.
What do you think, Chris?
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing.
100%.
There's nothing now without Elvis Presley.
Well, you're talking rock and roll and pop.
Right.
Right.
Totally different things, but you still go with Elvis.
Music. I think if I said, I didn't say rock and roll and I didn't say pop. I just said the true king, because I think if I said rock and roll, I think it's easy. It's Elvis. If I said pop, I think you're going Michael Jackson. But what if we just said all around entertainer? Who are you going with?
All around entertainer.
Now remember,
Then I
Elvis
go
makes movies.
Then I go Michael Jackson.
And what would you say, Chris?
Well, Michael did up the game with his tour. His live shows were just wow. You know,
I never saw him live. That's one of the only tours I
mean,
really.
Everybody saw the shit where he leans forward and
yeah,
you know,
That's Smooth Criminal. Yeah,
yeah.
I saw him live,
and I stayed up for I don't know, way past my bedtime to watch Thriller live. When that came out, we all did. You remember that? And what was that?
God, yeah. That was probably 83 or 84. Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about when Michael Jackson did the Motown special?
No, the video with the whole all the zombies and everything when that came on MTV, the Thriller, yeah. Right. Did I say Thriller? Yeah.
Yeah.
When that came out, it was a big thing. I don't know anybody that didn't stay up to watch that.
That wasn't as big because that's the album that really catapulted him to a different stratosphere. And I know this because I worked for the label when Bad came out. And when Bad came out, it was something like we have never seen. Maybe Taylor Swift is at that point now, where Bad comes out. They have a special on CBS during prime time at 8:00. They're going to debut the video of Bad, the long extended version of it. And then they're going to start to play some cuts from the album. On that album is Smooth Criminal and Dirty Diana, and that's a great album too. But I got to see Michael Jackson live. I went to the Victory Tour. This was like one of the big all-time concerts tours, and impossible to get a ticket. Day of the show, somebody I knew, someone who they were going with, got sick, and do I want to go? Right? Of course I want to go. We go. We're sitting all the way up in the Blues in Madison Square Garden, but I'm just thrilled to be in the building. And the show opens up with kind of like a King Arthur type of theme, where everyone's trying to, people starting to come up and trying to take a sword out of a stone, and then when they do, all of a sudden the Jacksons rise up. A scaffolding comes down. All these lights. And they go right into Heartbreak Hotel. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can You Feel It? That's what it was. Can You Feel It? Great open.
And when was this?
Oh,
this had to be early 80s.
Now, I owe a lot to that Bad album, because if it wasn't for Bad, then Weird Al Yankovic wouldn't have done Fat.
Fat is great.
I wouldn't have seen that video and went, oh, my God, you can change the lyrics to songs? I want to do that.
Yeah. In fact, amazing. Michael hadn't come out with Bad yet, but he came out with Thriller. So it was between Bad and Thriller was the Jackson Victory album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, you kind of alluded to this before, but let's try this question. Which is the best decade for rock music? 60s, 70s, or 80s?
70s.
For rock, 70s.
Yeah, I think for rock, 70s as well. And we've debated this on the show before. Although I think
the end of the 60s was phenomenal. And I think if it was a little bit longer, you probably could say the 60s. But I think the 70s picked up like the tail end of that 60s shit, and then had the whole branch out afterwards of the Zeppelins and the Who's and stuff like that. So you got to go with the 70s.
The 60s has the Beatles. The 70s is going to have, I guess, the Stones. I'm trying to think who else would kind of own it. Zeppelin, Sabbath really make their mark in the 70s.
The Doors.
Who would you say the other ones?
The Doors.
No, the Doors is more 60s.
Were they?
They're done by the 70s, yeah, like the
Are
early
they?
70s. Yeah. And then you would go 80s.
You're talking about the Jim Morrison version or the Bon Scott version of the Doors?
There was no Bon Scott version of the Doors.
My girlfriend's uncle started a band called Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Yeah, of course.
Did a cover.
Did they do When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman?
What's that?
Isn't that big hit, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman?
Yep. They did that one. They did Sylvia's Mother a whole bunch. In fact,
Sylvia's Mother, one of the all-time worst songs.
It's a great song.
10 cents for 5 more minutes. Oh, that song is fucking off the chart. And the thing is, you're living the song in real time.
He just passed away a couple of weeks ago, but he was the founding member of the band, man. He had some stories. Oh my God, they used to drop acid with Shel Silverstein, and there's crazy stories. And he played right up, and he passed. I think it was 85, and he would come over here and plug his guitar in, and we'd jam out and stuff. He was great.
And did you jam to Sylvia's Mother?
We never did, but he had a dirty version of Cover of the Rolling Stone.
Great song.
Oh my God, in fact, there's a part where he does a singing. There's a freaky old lady named Cocaine Katie. If you remember that part, that's it. That's him doing that one. But he had an X-rated version of it. Oh my God, it was so funny. We should really record it and put it out if she recorded it.
How can you say Sylvia's Mother is a good song?
Oh, come on.
I know.
It was good for them. It was a hit for them.
Oh my! I think it's a song that you love to hate. It's so bad.
I can think of way worse songs than that.
No, I'm telling you, if we're gonna do a top 10 list of all time terrible songs, it's easily in my top 10. Oh, it's so sappy. All right, who's the more influential guitarist of all time? I'm going to give you a couple of guys here. Is it Jimi Hendrix? Now remember, it's influential. Is it Jimi Hendrix? Is it Jimmy Page? Is it Eric Clapton or Eddie Van Halen? And if
Eddie Van Halen. All guitar playing stopped after Eddie Van Halen.
Yngwie.
Ew, God.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Are you serious?
In his leather pants.
Oh, he's atrocious.
Yeah, and what was he, 6'11"? He looked like he could have been like a small forward for like the Lithuanian Olympic.
Still comes out with the same leather pants with a big gunt in the front. It's not even a cod piece anymore. It's just a fupa.
Cod piece. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
I don't know if you guys noticed it. Yes, when you listen to Yngwie, he's fast.
Yeah, no shit.
Did you pick up on that? Yeah, we get it. You can shred.
I definitely say it's Eddie Van Halen because, I mean, just as a guitar player too, I think all guitar playing kind of everything new stopped after Eddie Van Halen. I don't think anything new.
Were you influenced by Eddie Van Halen?
No, I mean I'm not a great guitar player in the least bit, for fuck's sake, but I think he's the last great guitar player. Of like the greats.
Yeah,
he's the last great one.
Corey Feldman.
Did you watch his guitar solo at?
That's atrocious.
On that Limp Bizkit tour.
Yeah, it was horrible.
What is that?
It's just speed, but like he's hitting the wrong notes. He's not even playing scales. He's just playing fucking random notes back and forth. It was horrible. There was no.
Now, I don't play guitar, but it's exactly how I would play the guitar.
Right.
They gave me a spotlight.
It's like a guy who wants to be cool playing air guitar, but they gave him like a real guitar, but it's not Guitar Hero, and it's real. If you look at it, he's playing two notes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And he's just kind of like going back and forth. He's not even hitting certain strings. He's hitting every string.
Do you think he knows? Like this, has he been fluffed up to the point where he thinks that he's doing like what he's doing is amazing?
I think he thinks he's good.
I will say this is an absolute true story, and my best friend will vouch for this. We were at Asbury Park at the convention hall, and Overkill is filming their live DVD that night, right? So we're walking around, we're drinking and having a smoke, whatever, and there's this guy running around just going, "We don't care what you say. Fuck you." That's one of the Overkill songs, right? So he's running up to everybody doing that. And as he's doing that, a guy walks up to him and starts playing air guitar along to the guy who is screaming, "We don't care what you say." Now, people are starting to watch these fucking two assholes that are playing air guitar and singing with each other, right? All of a sudden, this fucking third guy comes out of the blue and he's playing air drums right behind them. So there's this whole fucking air band going. This is 25 years ago. I can still see this shit as clear as fucking day. And it's shit. On the Overkill DVD, as well as me falling asleep because I had sleep apnea.
Clear shot. Are you familiar with the song Ascension Millennium?
No.
It's a Corey Feldman classic.
How does he have any classics?
Oh, yeah. It's the phrasing is
Cindy Lauper and the Goonies.
Millennium.
I've never heard it.
Millennium. You never seen that?
No.
Listen,
I may have, and it might have come across on TikTok, and I just.
As soon as we're done with this, you have to go and watch the video for Ascension Millennium, and then you will go down a rabbit hole of live performances of this when he had the Angels. Oh my God!
I've seen the Angels, and
that's the backing band.
I mean, he can't. He's got to know, right?
Nope. No, there's no way. At first, you think it's shtick. Did you ever hear another?
It looks like it has to be shtick.
No, it's not.
You would think it would be genius
legit.
If it was.
He's legit, dude. It's scary how delusional this guy is.
Yeah. Are you familiar with his other classic? Because he's known as the Comeback King. You know that, right?
That he comes out to that.
The comeback king, end of scene. You never heard this? And he knew he has on it Sean Morton. He has Dr. Dre on it. Really? Well, it's not really Dr. Dre. It's one of his like illegitimate children. I am not making that up. I'm not making that up as a joke. He really has like a fourth illegitimate kid from Dr. Dre. That's one of the rappers on the song. You got to check out the Corey Feldman.
As soon as this show's over, I'm gonna go on my Apple Music. I'm gonna download the entire Corey Feldman discography, and that's all I'm gonna listen to in the gym tomorrow morning.
You gotta watch. Part of it is you have to watch this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a train wreck.
He's got the moves, baby.
Like Limp Bizkit was smart because they went on tour and Corey was the first act, and there was like 6 acts on that Limp Bizkit tour. So he knew by putting Corey Feldman on like first, he's going to have everybody in that place really early to watch all the other bands.
We were going to go.
Everybody wants to see the train wreck.
Adam, did you wind up going to that? Okay, Adam's probably scratching his ass right now. So slow to respond. We were gonna go. Me and Adam talked about this. I think up until the day of, we were really considering going, and all because of Corey Feldman.
Exactly, but I can't sit through that.
You gotta. I wouldn't mind. I would go.
Of course, Chris. Be honest. Who doesn't like to watch a train wreck?
I mean, absolutely,
dude.
Have you ever seen Matt Bridgestone do comedy? I'm fucking with you, Matt. All right. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna.
It's a Tuesday night gig in fucking October. You're never gonna get again, Jeff.
Yeah. Really. That's another friend off the cross off the list. All right. Are rock music's days better? Are rock music's better days behind us? Have we seen rock music hit its Pax Romana? Have we
Yeah,
seen them
I think we
hit
have.
its golden age?
I think we have. I think it was kind of with the end of the. I think the Foo Fighters are the last big monster rock band. And there were some drips and drabs like Greta Van Fleet and Dirty Honey. We've always talked about them, but I've been saying this for a long time, and country music is by far the biggest genre that is out there right now. Nothing can come close to hitting country music, and there's so much spin-off. Well, not spin-off, but like more collaboration with rock. Like even like Five Finger Death Punch last year toured with Brantley Gilbert, who's a big country singer. You're seeing a lot of festivals that are doing like Nickelback and Shinedown one night, and then Luke Combs and Luke Bryan the second night. So there's a big crossover with like whatever rock is out there with country, but rock is definitely it's leveled off for a while. Nothing really good is new that's come out in a long, long time.
It's amazing the size of the crowds that some of these country artists are getting. Like who's this guy, Morgan Wallen?
Morgan Wallen sold out three nights at MetLife Stadium.
That's 80,000 each night.
Yeah, Zach Bryan, who you don't even know what Zach Bryan looks like, right?
Right.
You don't even know. Maybe one song of his. This guy is a monster, and he sold 2 nights at MetLife again. It's by far the biggest genre. You're not getting many rock bands. I mean, U2 can sell out MetLife. Bon Jovi maybe can do 1 night at MetLife. Maybe
no problem. No, he could do that.
Maybe 1 night.
Oasis is doing 2 nights there.
That's different though. I mean, that's a reunion thing. So that's kind of, and System of a Down's doing 2 nights there too. So that's kind of, but consistently,
that's another one that I don't get that tour. How are they big enough to play? And how is My Chemical Romance with Death Cab for Cutie playing MetLife?
It's that MetLife is the home base for My Chemical Romance too. So that's
in Philadelphia as well. That's the tour.
Well, they're a Jersey Philly band. They were from Belleville, so they always had the hometown. But that album was monster. That Welcome to the Black Parade was one of the biggest albums in 2000s.
Well, let me ask you something. I'm glad you brought up that album and that song. Would you say that is this generation's Bohemian Rhapsody then? The way the song was structured?
It's definitely inspired by it, for sure. Again, there's not a lot of good rock that you can compare that to. So, I mean, if you're going to just throw that one example up there, I would say, yeah. There's not really a lot of rock opuses that have come out in the last 15 years.
Opuses.
Opuses.
Are you familiar with the song, Chris?
No.
Okay. It like Bohemian Rhapsody, it has different tempos, and it feels like it's 3 different songs, and they're all great. I think it's classic. And for some reason, I just don't feel that Welcome to the Black Parade gets enough love. Like,
no, it's a great record.
I thought it would propel the band to almost like a Queen-like status, and it never did.
Music's tricky like that.
Say again?
Music's tricky like that.
It is tricky like that. Who's the best front person in rock history? Is it Freddie Mercury, Mick Jagger, Janet Joplin?
Freddie Mercury.
What do you think, Chris?
I'll tell you, is that my only choices right there?
No, you could put someone else in there. I'm just giving you a couple examples.
One random, and I'm not even a huge fan, but I saw Steven Tyler with no crazy pyrotechnics or lasers or anything, but I saw him fucking light a crowd up and get everybody moving Aerosmith style. That was in the 90s. That was the what was that? Whatever.
They toured a lot through the 90s. They kind of get back.
Yeah, this was the was it Eat the Rich or Love in an Elevator?
That's like 97, 98.
Yeah, it was late 90s, but
that's great era.
That's when everyone was doing all the pyrotechnics and everything. They had everything at their disposal. They didn't need it. He fucking crushed it.
He's a great
whether you and I'm not a huge Aerosmith fan. That's why I remember it. I'm like, I wasn't crazy about the show, but he did amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's the quintessential frontman, but he can actually sing though too, which was a bonus. You know, he's a way better singer than David Lee Roth was.
Well, he's the one because I remember when they did "Walk This Way" with Run DMC, and at that time I had my fat laces on and I was trying to break dance like everybody else. But and that was another one of those. Wow, they can do that. They can put two songs, two genres together like that, and
that was how I was introduced to Aerosmith. Actually,
yeah, me too.
That song.
Now, if we ask this question to Adam, he would say it'd probably be the lead singer of Wet Leg. Because when Wet Leg breaks into Chase Lounge, the 12 people who are at the show go pretty crazy. And 6 of them were there to see the Disco Biscuits.
I had 12 people at a show last week. I should start doing
that.
Speaking of Matt Bridgestone, anyway.
Two references in one show. It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury was a great front man, but fucking Jagger is so good.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie was just everything, though. He was the quintessential showman too. Like, you could be a great front man and not be a great singer, but Freddie was an amazing front man and probably the greatest male rock singer of all time too. On top of it,
and he had really good head.
Yeah, that's true too.
They don't talk about that.
He gives really good head. Well, because he had the teeth.
It was
he had the extra teeth. That's right. How do teeth make him sing at a higher octave?
It has nothing to do with his teeth, you fucking mongoloid. How do you think his fucking teeth had nothing to do with his vocal range?
Well, that's what did you see the movie Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah, a million times.
He says that, and he goes, I have the extra teeth, then let me sing at a higher octave.
It's a joke, Jeffrey. You can't.
That's not a joke. He wasn't making a joke.
That's like saying Usain Bolt is the greatest sprinter in the world because his middle finger is shorter than his left fucking hand than his right hand.
Because of the aerodynamics. Everybody knows that.
And his last name is Bolt.
His name is Bolt. Right. You can't be obviously. Your name can't be Usain Bolt, okay? And you run like a 7.440. Like if your name is Bolt, you're running a 4.340.
That's true.
Okay.
Fucking like a foreign church.
Don't worry, Chris. We're only scratching the surface with these questions. We only got a few more to go. Biggest rock and roll Hall of Fame snub. Biggest rock and roll Hall of Fame snub. Is it Iron Maiden? Is it the Smiths? Is it Motorhead? Is it Grand Funk Railroad? Or would it be Jethro Tull? What would you guys say?
Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, then Tull, then Motorhead.
I'm glad you put Tull in there.
Yeah, I was thinking Tull. Motorhead? I don't know. Iron Maiden's definitely up there.
Who'd you say?
Iron Maiden's definitely up there.
Definitely number one. If I'm ranking them, I'm probably ranking them as Iron Maiden, Smiths, Tull, Grand Funk Railroad, and then Motorhead. But I think these are all these bands are worthy of being in the Rock and Roll.
I think that all out of that all five are without question should go in.
Now this is all right. So we were talking about the Grammys earlier,
right?
I mean, obviously, the Hall of Fame is not it's not just a notch in the belt. That's like that's the major league. That's as big as you can get, right? It's the Hall of Fame.
It's as big as you can get, but it's kind of more over the last 20 years or so into like the Music Hall of Fame and not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When you start seeing
that's true.
Things like Johnny Cash, even though he's a great, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and but he's a country guy. You know what I mean? I love Johnny Cash, but he's not a rock and roller. But he had the influence on rock and roll. You know?
Yeah.
Well, how was Missy Elliott in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Iron Maiden and Grand Funk Railroad?
Exactly. So it became a political thing, and that lost its luster really early on. Like the late '90s, it started to start phasing out.
So a lot of these, like in the Grammys too, like what's the vetting system? What is the you have to be on the panel, or isn't you're not voted in by the masses, right? It's
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The fan vote means
it's
25
years.
Nothing.
It's 25 years from the day of your first release.
I think he's asking about how do you get in, and there is a fan component, but it means absolutely nothing. It's really the voters, okay, and it's the writers of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. People who are already inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have a vote in it as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that that's why I think like Tom Morello is very, very active in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Springsteen is very active in the Hall of Fame. That's why the E Street Band got in as, they're in. The E Street Band as a separate entity is in, okay? But Jethro Tull and the Smiths aren't.
Yeah, it's not like baseball where it's like the Writers Guild where you get all the baseball writers are deciding who's going into the Hall of Fame or not. Yeah,
it's another shitty entity too.
There's a bunch of different factors for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The baseball writers, they put in who they like, and if the guy's a bad guy, regardless of his stats, they don't put him in.
And they put people in the Hall of Fame too for pressure reasons too. Like I'll never forget when I went to the one induction in Brooklyn for when Nirvana went into the Hall of Fame, and first person that came out was Joan Jett, and she filled in for Kurt, and they did "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and it was just absolutely amazing. And then when they were done, they were like, how the hell is Joan Jett not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That was the first thing that came out of Dave Grohl's mouth. And the place went nuts. And then instantly, the next day, they start talking about next year's class and how Joan Jett.
She got in, right?
And she got in the next year.
How many years? We've been doing the show for, what, we on our 5th year now, Sean?
Yeah, 5 years.
I'm just getting a fucking phone call yesterday. Fuck you guys.
Because I really didn't know you until like a couple of months ago. No, I knew of Chris Covert. I didn't really know him. No, but how many years have we been talking about how Pat Benatar has been overlooked, and she just got in?
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, it's ridiculous. They should put a halt on it for like 2 years and just put the people in that just haven't been in, like the Maidens, the Tulls, and all of those kind of people, and then other bands that are newer that are on the cusp of getting in, like Coldplay and bands like that are going to be eligible this year can wait a few more years.
There's no way Coldplay has to get in before.
Oh, they get on a first ballot without question.
Right.
Without question.
What are they getting in at? Sleepiest music? Like music to take Ambien with?
There's a lot of people who aren't of the newer generation too that are not in, like Melissa Etheridge, I think belongs in there.
I don't know. I'm just cranky. I do like a couple of songs by Coldplay. They're not terrible.
I released Hairy Vagina in 2002, so I still got a couple more years to wait. I don't think I'm going to be first ballot, but 25 years after the first release? All right, I can wait.
Let me tell you, that's one of my favorite songs. That is your Ascension Millennium, Mr. Feldman.
That is my magnum opus, my friend. That is my Sistine Chapel right there. Years on stage with that one.
Who's the best all-time U.S. rock group? Okay, or is it all-time best U.S. American rock group? Is it the Beach Boys? Is it the Eagles? Or is it Aerosmith?
No, it's Guns N' Roses.
Oh shit! You think so, huh?
Yeah. 100%.
Really? You're putting Guns N' Roses, okay, with their extremely limited catalog over the Eagles and Aerosmith?
100%.
And the Beach Boys?
100%. Because that's 6 years. That 6 years that they were on top equaled 20 years of Aerosmith.
Who's the greatest British rock band of all time?
Rolling Stones.
Who do you think, Chris?
I gotta go Beatles just because.
Okay, and you're gonna put Guns N' Roses against the Rolling Stones and the Beatles?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would have to think it would have to be either the Beach Boys or Aerosmith.
Well, we're not talking catalogs, right?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the whole rock and roll attitude. When I think of rock and roll, I don't think of fucking good vibrations. You know what I mean? I think of Welcome to the Jungle.
That's what are you gonna say, Chris?
I was thinking like, when I think Aerosmith, I automatically think of New England. Beach Boys, I think of California. Guns N' Roses, I think everywhere, for sure. They didn't. I mean, they are L.A., but they were a whole world of hit after hit after hit. What album?
I mean, it was unbelievable. That period was just, like I said, it was only like 6 years. Like the Beatles really were only around 7 years when you think about it. It was like 62 to 69, I think it was.
Beatles are they're a 9-year band.
Okay, basically, Guns N' Roses is the same thing. When you really think about it, it was like 86 to like 93.
But again, the Beatles would put out 2, sometimes 3 albums a year.
Right.
And
look, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing the catalogs. I'm not comparing the magnitude of the music. I'm just talking about what they both did in that time frame. Like the Beatles created music, but Guns N' Roses changed rock and roll again. In that time period. So that's kind of the direction I was going with that.
But the Beatles never threw a TV out a hotel window.
That's true too.
Oh, sure. Everybody knew that Ringo was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Ringo? Oh yeah. Like he slapped bitches up. Everyone's very familiar with those stories, along with Corey Feldman. Which is the better album? Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys or Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd?
Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds may be the greatest album ever recorded on, like, all around in music. It might be one of the most perfect record ever recorded.
In 5 years of doing this show, this is probably the thing that surprised me the most. That answer from you right there surprised me.
Really? Why?
Absolutely. First of all, I don't think you're that bright and you have that much depth, and you're
such a dick.
Oh, you spend 5 years insulting me every single time. Oh my God. What do you think, Chris?
I take offense to that, actually. I take offense to that.
I really like Pink Floyd, so this is just an opinion. Technically, musically, Pet Sounds is way up there, and their best for sure.
Okay, I think when it comes to musically, you could be right with Pet Sounds with the introduction of all the different instruments and sound, and you have basically the wrecking crew that's playing on this. It's phenomenal. But I think when it comes to engineering, I think Alan Parsons, who produces this album, really brings some great innovations. Okay, I think they're both kind of game changer albums, and for me, I'm taking like the Switzerland ground here. It depends on which way the wind blows and what I'm into at that time. There are times where I'm super into the Beach Boys and that's all I'll listen to, and I'll say Pet Sounds. And right now I'm in one of those, I love David Gilmour. I think he's probably one of the most underrated guitarists, singers, songwriters who ever lived. And I'm in a Pink Floyd state of mind right now.
Now you being bisexual makes a lot more sense.
Right now, you understand me a little bit more.
I get you now.
I want you to understand the depth and the complexity of me. Sure, I like a good hairy vagina, but who doesn't like a ball sack on that nose every once in a while?
Every now and then.
And we all drank human blood, right, Chris?
We've all been there.
That's right. Okay, don't judge me. All right, last one, and then we really got to end this show, and we're perfect on time too. Adam, I'm that good. Best debut album. Is it Boston's debut album? Is it Pearl Jam's 10? Is it Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction?
Guns N' Roses.
It's Appetite.
I'm going Boston.
Jeff,
I'm going Boston.
Jeff, come on.
They're great.
Look, we had a really fun episode.
It's a great album. No one gives that album enough love.
How do you even compare that, dude?
Because rock and roll band, Tom Schultz, introduction of the Rockman. Guns N' Roses didn't introduce any musical apparatuses.
No, they just wrote the fucking greatest debut album of all time. That's all they did.
For Boston.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
I'm
not.
gonna.
I would tell you this. I'm gonna go this. You take those three. I go GNR, and then a close second is Pearl Jam's 10, and a distant 48th is the Boston debut album.
Shocked. Everything I said about you before about Pet Sounds, I take back. You're even dumber than I thought. You have the depth of a thumbnail or a thimble. I don't know which one.
Thumbnail, fucking dipshit. You're the worst. This is why I was in the Friars Club, because I can actually roast people, and you just call people a dummy head. And oh.
Hey, listen, Don Rickles made a living out of calling people a hockey puck. Hey, Chris, you hockey puck. Yeah, try and come back from that one, smart guy. I just called you a hockey puck.
I've seen Guns N' Roses 5 times, 3 times with my son. It was my son's first concert. I've seen him. I was a little disappointed in the last one, but still,
yeah, I was too.
Best debut album by far.
That was the last tour. I said the same thing. I'm so. From what I've heard, that this year they're doing this year into next, so 2025 and 26, they're doing the farewell tour. It's going to be it's the 40th year, so they're going to do the farewell tour.
Do you see the bands
I don't know I'm going to go
for them in Europe right now?
What's that?
Do you see the bands that are opening up for them?
Yeah, I got some monsters too.
I hope that comes over to the States.
Yeah, they always have big. I mean, when I saw them, I think Lenny Kravitz opened for them twice.
Yeah.
And then I saw Smashing Pumpkins, I think, opened for them.
Yes, that's the last one.
Yep.
And I think Chris Stapleton opened for him too, the one time.
I didn't see that one.
That's I saw him with Mammoth open for them.
Yep. And they're playing a great show, Mammoth, with 3 Days Grace and Alice in Chains down in Camden.
I saw him with Faith No More and Metallica.
That's a monster show, though, dude.
It was crazy. It's when they had the full Use Your Illusion, the whole orchestra and everything. It was nuts, man.
I never saw that tour. I was probably 15, so I didn't have really a way to get to Giant Stadium by myself.
Oh, it was one of those. I'm sleeping at their house, and they're sleeping at our house, and our one friend was old enough to drive us and buy beer.
So you guys are old enough to catch Guns N' Roses with Metallica?
That's what he's talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and Faith No More opened up that show.
Yeah. Way to pay attention, Jeff.
Like, who even remembers Faith No More on that tour?
You want it all, but you can't have it. That's the only thing I remember.
They didn't do Easy?
Easy wasn't out yet.
We were walking in as they were closing, and they were closing with "You Want It All."
That's what that's called. Epic, that song. Yeah, great song. Chris, so much fun having you on here, man. Really.
Thanks for having me after 5 years. I appreciate it.
Nah, man. We've
had Ken Grant on 6 times, but
he knows it. He's actually a world of knowledge with the music. He's good with that.
He's a loser.
Let us know where what you got going on, where people can find you, maybe shows going on. Tell us a little bit more about Chris Covert before we wrap this up.
What's going on with me? I'm in Danville, Pennsylvania. No, what's the name of it? I gotta look it up. I didn't know we were doing this part of it. I'm somewhere on Friday in Pennsylvania.
Where can people follow you, first of all?
Jersey Jokers or chriscovertcomedy.com. And sometimes I even update it every now and then. And my handle on the socials is Get Coverted.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Get Coverted.
And big things coming. It's going to be a good year, boys. And I want to
listen. I give you last year. You had a great year. It was probably your biggest year in comedy last year, right?
I was all over the freaking map last year. So yeah.
Listen, this guy played the Vogel at the fucking Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, and that is nothing to snooze at, dude. That is a monster show.
I'm doing that again. April 19th, all new stuff, new album.
Shit.
April 19th at the Vogel in Red Bank.
That's fantastic.
Guys, if you haven't seen Chris Covert,
tickets on sale now.
You have to go see Chris Covert. It is a fun show. Yes, and that says hype. Okay, he's a hype man. If we're lucky, maybe we can get Corey Feldman to open up that show.
I'm gonna make some phone calls tonight. Let's see.
It could happen. That would be the tour of 2025. Chris Covert, Corey Feldman
and Covert. Yeah.
All of a sudden, that becomes like a Grateful Dead tour. I'm following you guys in a van, okay, selling spaghetti to everybody. All right. No, that Chris Covert, man, you got to see the guy.
Thank you.
Great live act. Very, very funny. Sean, what you got coming up? Anything cool?
Yeah, we got a lot of dates coming up. Booked a lot of stuff in New Jersey. We're going to update the website this week. It's SeanMortonComedy.com. A lot of stuff in Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Long Island coming up. So, the usual stomping grounds.
Very good. Guys, you can always follow me on Jeffrey Paul and all the social medias and stuff like that. Constantly posting shows on there. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, man. Really
guys.
Fun time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Check it out, all our episodes. Please like, subscribe, comment, give some feedback. It's always appreciated. Until next time, gentlemen, thank you so much. See ya.
Later.